building was built in the early 19-teens, and it was built for the General Machine and Supply Company. These were historically apartments up in the upper floor. The commercial space was on the first floor. So it served as apartments sometime until, I believe, where there was a fire in 2012 or 14, I can't remember the date, prior to us owning it. And you can kind of see a little bit of the fire damage here with the bubbling of the paint off the wall. Fortunately, it was put out. The roof was repaired well enough to keep it from getting wet in the building. And so we purchased the building several years ago, and then had it on the list of projects to work on. It just kind of came together this year. So there'll be 7 apartments up here. This building's a little different than some of ours in the fact that we kept most of the original layout because of, as you can see, the framing is actually all original framing. This building is a contributing structure to our Waterloo West Commercial Historic District, which is a National Register listed district. That's an important feature for us because we utilize historic tax credits to get these projects to start to make sense for us. You may have noticed when you came up, there's a garage door right by the stairway that we just came up. That goes away. That goes back to a commercial storefront. We did have to add this second stairway as a life safety requirement for exiting purposes. So we had to cut that hole in the floor there and open it up. And you know, that's an interesting detail there. It's important that we do that, but it also creates potential issues with our historic review, because all of these projects have to be reviewed both by the state and actually the National Park Service. And actually, where we're at this point, you'll start seeing walls start getting closed up relatively soon, as soon as the insulators are done. They'll probably stay up here all winter. And our plan right now is for this to be finished in the second quarter of 2021. I think right now we're probably on schedule to be able to do that. The challenge we're going to run into is with getting the windows reinstalled and the storefronts done. You might notice the window openings. There's a fair amount of the original woodwork still there. A lot of the windows actually were still here, even though they were heavily damaged. It won't look brand new because we don't want it to look brand new, but it'll look revitalized. So we'll have two new commercial spaces downstairs. We expect that the brick house will stay, have a new, fresher look out from the outside in. We'll be doing some work on the ceiling. There's a full tin ceiling downstairs that'll be cleaned up. It's had some issues with peeling and so forth over the years, so that'll be cleaned up and repainted. We'll probably update some lighting fixtures, do some other cosmetic stuff in the brick house. Not a lot, complete overhaul there, but we'll end up with 2 more rentable commercial spaces out of this as well. So this corner, this intersection looks kind of not well taken care of at this point, and this will be kind of the start. Working with Brick House to rework their signage. I think this project will make them a lot more visible and a lot more noticeable, which should be beneficial. So they've been good to work with us, and we've been working with them to try to make sure we coordinate as I look at those storefronts and I see those being more back to the original historic storefronts there, which is going to change the look and feel of this block. As we're replacing sidewalk here, we're going to go ahead and put in street trees adjacent to these two buildings. It's the outside for starters. You know, the outside actually has got quite a bit of interesting detail to it if you stop and look at it. Most people just see the boarded up windows or the kind of the cruddy storefronts. But if you look at the brick detail, there's a lot of neat detail out there. Once we get this thing all put back together, it'll really change the nature of this intersection. You know, we've agreed to have a almost, not quite, a $900,000 increase in assessed value that we'll pay taxes on. Right now the building's assessed at $100,000. So that incremental tax essentially is going to go through, and we're able to get some financial help up front, which is really just an advance on future taxes we'll pay. Getting the city to work with us on coordinating streetscape, that's important, right? Providing some financial assistance to help the project happen, that makes sense. Those are kind of the big picture things that the city can best help with.